All right, what is up, my peeps? Joshua Smith here with another GSD Mode podcast weekly real estate tip, where every single week I come to you delivering different tips, tactics, and strategies that I've learned in my 20-year-long real estate journey that have allowed me to become one of the top realtors and team leaders on the planet, with selling well over 7,000 homes and sharing this information with you in hopes that you take this information in, that you take massive action on it, so you can go out there and create that real estate business in life that you truly know that you want and deserve. All right, so today I'm going to be breaking down 20 different ways to go out there and generate free leads, free clients to grow your real estate business here in 2024. And as we get closer to 2025, we are just about ready to enter Q4 of 2024. By the time this is released, we might be well into Q4 of 2024. So there's still business to be had in 2024, but a lot of this is going to be setting you up so you have that right momentum to go out there and crush it in 2025. Because as you know, and look, maybe you don't know, I don't want to make assumptions here, but we are in an industry where we see the fruits of our labors usually 3, 4, 5, sometimes 6 months down the road. So the actions that we take today are what are leading to paychecks 3, 4, 5 months down the road. One of the biggest bottlenecks that I hear, one of the biggest objections, complaints, frustrations that I hear from so many real estate professionals, real estate agents is, I need leads. I need more clients, but I don't know what to do. I don't have the money to go out there and invest money. Look, it doesn't take investing money to make money inside this industry. Some businesses, hey, maybe that's true. I'm not here to talk about other business. I'm here to talk about the business that I know, which is real estate. And I'm telling you right now, it does not take money to make money in real estate, but you got to be strategic. You got to be willing to go out there and put in the energy, the effort, but do not hide behind the excuse that it takes money. I did not start investing money into my real estate business from a marketing perspective until I was about 2 years in the industry. And I did 48 deals my first year, 103 the second, without spending money, but instead taking action on a lot of these activities I'm going to walk you through. Now, some of these activities I'm going to walk you through didn't exist, when I got in the business. I got in the business 20 years ago. So there was no social media. There was no YouTube. Some of these things didn't exist, but as soon as they became available, man, I jumped on them and I started milking them for everything that they're worth. All right, so we are going to be breaking down all 20 of these. Now, because I'm covering so many different things, look, I don't have the time, because otherwise this would be a 6-hour podcast. So I'm not going to go down each one of exactly how to do each one and execute on each one, but you can figure those things out. I've got other podcasts on these different things of how to go out there and do those. But I want to make sure that you have an abundance of ideas of what to do. Now, I also want to stress this. I would not encourage you to go out there and do all 20 of these, right? Go out there and identify a few of them that you can do daily, consistently, and take massive action on, and that you're committed to going out there and mastering these different things. So, and these are going to be a mixture of outbound and inbound activities. So I know that some of you are like, hey man, I don't want to cold call. I don't want to door knock. Okay, cool. You don't have to. If it's something that you're willing to, okay, look, you can create a lot of success with those, but you can also create a lot of success without doing those things. All right, so real quick, before I jump into these 20 things, make sure that you go check out www.gsdmode.com for more additional free resources, more free trainings. I highly encourage all of you to check out my 3-hour in-depth masterclass that's taking place right now. You'll see it on the front page of gsdmode.com. Can also, when you go to gsdmode.com, if you don't see it on the front page, which you will, but just in case, if you click down the menu bar, there you'll see an area that says free resources. There you'll see the online masterclass. This is a 3-hour in-depth, 100% free in-depth masterclass where I'm walking you through these 6 fundamental things that you must dial in and execute on right now at the highest level to create success in growing and thriving in this new market that we're in. So the title of the training is 6 Steps to 3Xing or More Your Real Estate Business within the next 12 months, regardless of the market conditions. And there's no fluff, man. We go deep into that training. And I want to make sure that you don't just have success while you're on the training, but I want to make sure that you have everything that you need to execute after the training. So I've created the whole entire training where, you're going to receive all the great information that you need to know to go out there and just dominate in your real estate business. But then I've created this slide deck where I give it to you at the end as a download. So then that I've created it in such a way where then it becomes your execution playbook, right? So then now you have the playbook on what to execute on and how to execute on those things. So again, www.gsdmode.com. All right, so let's jump into these 20 ways to go out there and generate free leads, free clients here in 2024. Okay, so item number 1 here. And I don't have these numbered. So as I'm going deeper down the list, I just have bullet points. I counter them up. So, I'm going to say number 1 and then we'll just keep going. Okay. So number 1 is tapping into any and all leads that are currently in your CRM. So look, if you're brand new and you don't have any leads, okay, this is something that you can't take advantage of, right? But a lot of you that are watching and listening to this aren't brand new. You've got a lot of neglected leads inside your CRM. Anytime I have a real estate agent, coaching client, anybody that maybe it's a new coaching client that's just starting with me and they're struggling, they need to turn things around right away, I look at and I assess, okay, what are the opportunities that they have available to them? So I'll give an example of this. Right now I have a coaching client that was doing a lot of Google pay-per-click leads. First comes to me when he starts the coaching relationship with me and, tells me what his goals are and what he's been doing. And I did the quick calculations. I'm like, look, man, you've got hundreds of thousands of dollars of just money sitting inside your CRM right now, so I'm not saying to shut off new Google pay-per-click leads and not take on new leads, but definitely don't neglect those leads. Work the hell out of all of those. Now, these were old leads that were neglected. So my advice to them was, okay, start them over as brand new leads. They're not going to know the difference. Like we all have seasons and times where we neglect leads inside of our CRM. Start them over as brand new leads. So, like for me, I'm going to put them on my 1,000-day email text strip campaign, make sure they're on property alerts. And then I'm going to start hitting them with my no time frame established call tasking follow-up protocol to reinvigorate and recapture those leads. Now, this was, about 8-9 months ago, that we had that conversation. He has not had 1 month since we had that conversation where he hasn't converted and had at least one closing from those old leads. So sometimes we are sitting on golden opportunities, sitting on a shit ton of money inside our database. So way number 1 is tapping into any and all leads that are currently inside your CRM. Okay. Number 2, tapping into your sphere of influence and past clients. So these are also, leads, but a lot of people don't think of them in the same way as leads. I look at your sphere of influence and your past clients as your number 1 lead source, right? It's difference between cold leads and warm leads. So really breaking this down, chunking this down and assessing this. Okay. Who are the past clients that I've neglected that I haven't been following up with? Now you might be again in a situation where you're new and you don't have any past clients. Okay. Well, then think about your sphere of influence. Sphere of influence, past clients is just one silo to your sphere of influence. Sphere of influence is anybody that that you have a warm relationship with. So really start chunking this down and thinking about, okay, who are all the people I know? All the people I grew up with, all the people I worked with in my past careers, all the people that I know via my real estate business, all the people that I know through, all the organizations that I'm part of, so we start chunking this down, thinking of your sphere of influence as a wheel. And then you got all these different spokes inside that wheel. So an example of this is, I got 3 kids and all my 3 kids are involved in different sporting and rec activities and whatnot. So each one of those, okay, I'm going to come up with a strategy of how I can leverage those relationships with other parents that I meet, through those situations. Or maybe you go to the gym, maybe you go to you have a local church that you go to. All of those people are part of your sphere of influence. So making sure that you're tapping into, you identify and have the right strategy, and then you tap into that. This is one of the first things that I do with the coaching clients and agents that join me in my organization is making sure that they have their sphere of influence past client strategy dialed in, because again, there's so much gold there. Okay. So then from there, now open houses. Open houses is one of the quickest ways, hands down, that I've ever seen in my 20 years of doing this to go out there and get now immediate buyers. Now, again, you get out of anything of what you put into it. So maybe you're like, oh, well, I've done open houses. They haven't worked for me. Well, it's probably because you did a half-ass effort. It's probably because you weren't strategic with property selection. You weren't strategic with pre-marketing. You weren't strategic with the setup process. You weren't strategic making sure that everybody signs in. You weren't strategic with your overall touring process. You weren't intentional and strategic with, at the end of that tour, setting that appointment. And then you probably weren't strategic with making sure that you have a dial and follow-up protocol to maximize and optimize conversions. So everything works. Nothing doesn't. So if you're not having success with something, it's not the thing, it's you, right? And I'm not saying that to be a dick. I'm not saying that to be a jerk. I'm saying it because out of love, because I truly care about you. And if we want to create success, we got to take 100% responsibility of, okay, man, I all these things I'm trying aren't working. Well, I'm the common denominator. It's kind of like when I got a buddy that comes to me that, I don't know, is on their, that maybe enters the dating realm and on their, I don't know, eighth girlfriend, eighth person they've been dating for a while. And this didn't work out. This didn't work out. This didn't work out. And I'm like, after 8 people, bro, like you're the common denominator. Maybe the problem isn't the 8 of them. Maybe it's you, but until we're willing to take on that responsibility and look in the mirror, well, then, nothing changes. Right. So open houses. Here's the thing. If you do open houses right, yes, you will get more buyer leads than you do seller leads, but you will get a ton of seller leads and listings out of your open houses. So if you're doing these correctly, okay, about 40% of your leads and clients will be listings and about 60% will be the buy side. I get so many agents like, oh, I used to do open houses, but I like to be more listing focused. So I don't do them anymore. I'm like, okay, you were just doing them improperly. Like if dude, you go out there and you do one great open house every single month, okay, you're going to be walking away. You should be walking away with at least 1, if not 2 listings every single month consistently, plus a buyer client every single open house that you do. Okay, so we got open houses. Okay, the next one now, this is going to be, I'm going to talk about the medium and then we'll break down the different sources that the different niches within this medium that you can go after. So we got cold calling and or door knocking. So I've kind of put these two together here. Now, personally, but I'm also in an area where we can cold call. Most areas here in the States, you can cold call. I know there's some states that have some restrictions, but I know for those of you that are watching or listening up in Canada, you have some different restrictions on this. So personally, I prefer cold calling over door knocking just from the efficiency. It's every bit as effective. Like, okay, my answer rates are every bit as high as, and getting somebody to pick up the phone as they are answering that door. But then from an efficiency standpoint, so I'm able to have this, the same effective, answer rate, if you will. But then because of the efficiency of it, I can just do a lot more in less time. And because it's like, okay, you can only knock so many doors. You got to drive to the community, you got to knock that door, walk to the next property, knock that. Like, I can't knock 50 doors an hour, or if I'm using a triple line power dialer, 150 doors an hour, like I can hitting the phones. Then from there, we don't have to deal with the weather conditions. So like, okay, I'm in Phoenix, Arizona. Well, it's hot as hell in the summertime. Like I'm going to go out there and be freaking sweating bullets, dude. Or maybe you're in a location like I used to live in Michigan, where you got a lot of snow and rain and, it's because of conditions that are outside of our control, it can make it more difficult. And I'm talking with a dude the other day that like he's in the area. He's like, man, if I go door knock people's properties in my area, like I'm getting shot. I'm like, okay, cool. Like from a safety concern too, but both work. I don't want to, just because I prefer cold calling over door, like they all work. That's just a medium. What we need to have is having the right conversations with the right people. So both are highly effective. Then from there, the conversations are the same. The scripting is the same. The conversations are the same, but I recommend that you get highly strategic with this. So like right now, at least in 2024, and as we lead into 2025, the niches that are converting the best are expireds, for sale by owners, absentee owners, pre-foreclosures, divorces, probate. And then I put in circle prospecting here, even though that for me would be like a worst case scenario if I absolutely couldn't do any of the others. But now if you're in a market like mine that's declining, that's softening, that's seeing an explosion of listing inventory, okay, circle prospecting, even though it was really crap the last few years, is starting to make a comeback. Now, it's not nearly as high yielding of conversions as the other ones that I mentioned, but I wanted to add it to the list because if you're willing to do more, you're just gonna have to do more volume, have more conversations with circle prospecting versus if you're niche down. All right, so we got cold calling, door knocking to go out there and do that. And again, I know I talked about free, and you might be like, oh, well, Josh, these I got to go buy a Red X, or I got to go buy, Vulcan 7, or I got to go buy the data for this. Some situations, some cases, yeah, maybe, but leverage the resources that you have. Like, okay, FSBOs, I can just get off Zillow for free, cost me no money. Leveraging local title companies. I've got relationships with local title companies in my market where I can get all this data for free from my local title companies, and I don't have to go out there and buy it. Right. So leverage the relationships that you have. Okay. So the next one, lender partner leads. reaching out to lenders that you know in your market. That's where I'd start, your preferred lender partners. Then from there, okay, if you don't have preferred lender partners, or if your lender partners don't have these opportunities, then reaching out to other lenders. Look, there's an abundance of lenders, especially in this market right now. When we got, mortgage demand, the lowest that we've seen in 35 plus years, they're having to go out there and self-gen a lot of business. It's not easy street anymore where they're just getting a bunch of refis and they have so many realtors spoon feeding them business. There's a lot of lenders out there that are having to go out there and hustle just like we are. And having that realtor partner to tag team these leads, and you both win from that. So it's kind of like the reverse relationship, right? Like most of my career has been, I generate the leads. And then, okay, those leads, once I convert them into, a potential buyer client, we need to get them, pre-qual. I shoot them to my lender partner. Well, now I have so many lenders that are going out there and having to do their own lead generation as well and self-procuring deals. Okay, now we can tag team these together and get essentially free leads, from the lender partners. Okay, so then from there, I'm going to call this one pawn leads from brokers, teams, and top agents. So what do I mean by pawn leads? Okay, so now, and the reason why I'm talking broker, teams, and agents is to give you a few different options here. So what we're really talking about here is neglected leads that maybe your brokerage, your broker owner has been generating for agents in the office that just got neglected, that aren't working. Or if you're on a team, your team leader probably will have a ton of neglected leads. Like any of my agents come to me, I'm like, hey, dude, you got any leads I can work and old neglected leads that I can try to resurrect and go out there and convert deals. So this is really, like I talked about earlier, of tapping into your CRM and those missed opportunities, that gold that's sitting in your CRM that maybe you've overlooked and neglected. It's doing this here, but doing it, on the broker, for the brokerage, and or team and or top agents. So maybe your broker doesn't have these available. And if you go to your broker, just be like, hey, do you have any, old neglected leads that aren't being worked by any agents in the office? And if so, can I have access to those? I'll work the hell out of them and we can split those 50-50. Now, maybe you're not on it. Maybe your broker doesn't have these, and then maybe you're not on a team. Okay. You can still go to other team leaders. You can go to other top agents in your market, because one thing I'm telling you right now, most team leaders, the vast majority of most top agents, the vast majority have a bunch of neglected leads inside their CRM. They become successful because they are so damn good at lead gen, and it becomes an impossibility to work every single one of those leads. It doesn't become an impossibility, but it's a problem that a lot have. So same thing there. Going in there and offering, you don't necessarily need to join them. You don't need to join their team. You can say, hey, any leads that you allow me to have access to, I will work the hell out of those. Here's my overall follow-up plan. Or if you have a follow-up plan that you need me to follow to maximize conversions, I will follow this to a T. I will work the hell out of these. And I will split the, anything I convert with you, I'll split 50-50 with you, on those deals. And anything you're self-procuring out of that, obviously keep 100%. Okay. So then from there, we got Facebook groups and Facebook Marketplace. So specifically, Marketplace is a great way to go out there and post ads, post free, we're talking about, instead of doing paid ads, right? I'm going to go out there and leverage Marketplace and groups. And for me, I really prefer Facebook groups, right? Because it shows up. So when people are part of Facebook groups, okay, people are viewing when they go to log into Facebook, they're logging through the app on their phone. It's not like they're logging into that group, right? All of a sudden they just show posts that are inside those any groups that they're part of inside their newsfeed. So this is just a way, instead of you having to go pay in the Facebook Ads Manager and pay for ads. Okay, this is just a way to go out there and generate free leads. So I go into Facebook groups, like your buy, sell, trade groups. I'm not saying to go spam groups that don't allow it. Like I'm going into groups that actually allow it, or go create your own group. Like everybody has the ability to go out there and do that. If you don't have groups in your own area, like you can create a living in group, buy, sell, trade group, whatever in your own marketplace, and start growing and expanding that, but I've never had to do that, right? There's abundance of groups in my market, but then also in markets where people are relocating to my market, from, and then I go in there and post ads inside that group about real estate for sale, here with that. So I'll go out there and post 10 a day, when I'm going out there. And I'm not doing this actively personally. Some of my agents are, just because I'm more focused on the paid ads. But there was a point in time where I didn't have the money to do paid ads, or when we were scaling, it was just, we were able to generate so many leads from the free ads, and we had the time, so there was a point in time I was featured in Inman about this. You can go check it out, Google it, if you don't believe me, or if you want to go check out the interview that I did on Inman about this. But my team was generating over 1,200 Facebook leads every single month for free. So right now that was a time where we yielded a little bit better results. It's gotten a little bit more saturated today, but on average, about for 2 groups I post in, I'm generating a lead. So if I'm going to post in 10 groups a day, which I don't recommend to post in more than 10 groups a day because you can get put in Facebook jail. And even if you're posting 10 a day, like you might get put in Facebook jail, which just means that you might get a slap on the hand where you can't post in groups for 7 days. But as long as you're not spamming, like, okay, if you join like a mom's group and flooding with real estate stuff, that's going to be spam. We're talking about types of groups like buy, sell, trade groups that are built to go out there and promote, So then from there, if I'm posting in 10 groups a day, okay, that's going to be, best, on average 5 leads, but let's just say worst case, 3 leads a day. Well, if you're generating 3 new free leads every single day, that makes a big impact on your business. And posting these squeeze pages, it's like, dude, it takes me, less than 5 minutes to generate the first one, like my first ad. Then as I go into the other 9 groups, I'm just copy paste. So it's like this whole thing takes like 10 minutes a day, okay. So that is another way. Then from there, we got YouTube. So building out your own YouTube channel, and this is a longer term play, but it is one of the, if not, I shouldn't even say one of the, it is hands down the highest converting lead source that I've ever seen for new business. It is every bit as good as like referrals from past clients, friends, family. I mean, we're talking like 20% to 50% conversions, depending on your skill set. Because if you think about it, people that are watching your content, if they don't like you, if they don't connect with you, they don't see value in, like, then they're not reaching out. It's like people that are reaching out, they've been binging hours and hours and hours and hours of your content. They feel like they know you. They know, like, trust you, one of the most powerful sources out there. Now, it does take about 9 to 12 months of consistently creating content, posting content on your YouTube channel. But then the good news is you kind of build a moat around yourself because the vast majority of realtors aren't going to do the work. And there's a bit of a science to it. So yeah, you got to make sure that you know what to post, how consistent to post, type of content to create, the hooks, the call to actions, the titling, like you got to know all of that stuff. But if you take the time to learn that, I have many, many coaching clients that are making 7 figures plus a year from their YouTube channel. And I also have a ton of them making $300,000-400,000 grand a year that are working very minimal at this point. Like they go out there and pop their, 2, 3, 4 closings every single month, like clockwork. They spend a day creating content, a week. And then they kind of got to the point now where they're just working part-time, making good money and enjoying life. So different ways that you can take that. Okay. The next one here is social organic. So this is, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and I know YouTube is classified as a social media platform, but I kind of split those off and treat those as 2 different beasts. So now I'm talking about your consistent posting content on overall social media and leveraging these. And the cool thing with the era that we are in is, dude, none of this has to cost, like, okay, Facebook, none of this has to cost money, right? Facebook is free. TikTok is free. Instagram is free. LinkedIn is free. All of these platforms are free. And there's different ways that you can leverage these, whether it's through growing influence and growing connections through consistent content creation and posting, whether that be joining strategic groups, whether that be through finding the right people, connecting with those people, and you have a DM strategy. Lots of different ways to go out there and leverage social media to grow your business. Okay, next one. So I believe that this is number 17. Is networking groups. So joining local networking groups that you can develop relationships that people have the highest probability of needing your services in your market, but being strategic with this, so like the 2 best networking groups that have served me, over the time is joining local investor groups. So I'm learning about real estate investing. I'm meeting local investors. Local investors always need realtors. They always need good deals, so that's led to a shit ton of investor relationships and to a shit ton of business for me. And then like local small business owner groups, like your BNIs and other small business owner groups, because you got other entrepreneurs. Your nice thing about these groups is you're in their mastermind and talk about business. You're learning new business skills and tactics, and but then from there, other small business owners in your marketplace have influence. They have employees. They have connections. They have so networking groups is a very, very powerful way to go out there and grow your business as well. Okay, the next one. So this would be number 18, Home Depot parking lot. So when I say Home Depot parking lot, this is just something I did early on in my career that yielded a lot of results for me. And the reason why I did Home Depot is because it was right across the street from my office. So I don't care if it's Home Depot, Lowe's, Ace Hardware, and you can go kind of, alter these, and it doesn't have to, you don't have to just stick with one. Now, I said it's parking lot strategy. I'm actually not entering the store, but early on, and this happened by accident for me. So early on, I was like, oh man, I got to learn a lot. I got to learn a lot about not just about real estate, but I got to learn a lot about the area. And I just moved from Michigan to Arizona. So I didn't know crap about the area. I didn't know crap about real estate. And so I'm like, man, I got a lot to learn. Yeah, I got to get my name out there, introduce myself to people, but I got a lot to learn. And I was like, dude, I don't want to just guess what people want to know. Let me go out there and see if I can get them to tell me what they want to know. So I can go out there and do the research, educate myself, but then give them some research, and give them that information as well. Then right before I got into real estate, I just bought my first home. And this is where it clicked for me, right? Was okay. Before I owned my first home, I was never at Home Depot, very, very rarely. Then once I bought my first home, I was like, shit, man, I was there like every single weekend, sometimes multiple times every single week. So I'm like, okay, people that own homes must be hanging out here. Marketing 101 is you got to make sure that you are showing up or your message is showing up where people congregate, right? So then from there, I'm like, okay, let me just go snap on my name, put on my name badge, Joshua Smith Realtor, let me grab a grip of cards, 100 cards. And every day I made a goal of having 100 conversations. Any day that I wasn't super busy with clients or whatnot, this was always like my backup. I always believe in having like the backup thing and the backup to the backup thing. So you never have downtime. You should never be bored. You should never have downtime. You should always be working on building and growing your business. So then from there, I just walk up to people. Now I was brand new at this point, so you may not want to use this same script, but I walk up to people and be like, hey, my name's Joshua Smith. I'm a local real estate agent here with RE/MAX. And I kind of point over at my office, local real estate agent here with RE/MAX. Just so you know, I'm a brand new real estate agent. So I'm not here to try to sell you anything because, like I said, I'm brand new. You wouldn't want to utilize me anyway because I don't know what the hell I'm doing. The reason why I'm out here is, number one, just to get my name out there. But as I mentioned, I'm brand new and there's a lot that I have to learn. And I figured instead of just guessing what it is that people want to know and what they're interested in, I would just come out here and ask. So with that being said, is there anything about the area, whether it be about schools or just the overall area growth, new businesses coming to town? Is there anything about the overall area, that you would like to know? That way I can go do the research on. And then as soon as I get done with the research and I've have the information to answer your question, I'll shoot that over to you via email. And I promise you, I won't spam you when it comes to that. Look, you're helping me out a lot. And this is allowing me to learn, and hopefully it's a benefit to you, because it's answering a question that you have. So, can you help me out? Do you have any questions for me that I can go out there and answer? And look, people innately want to help other people. So then once I get those questions, questions from them, then I'd follow that up with, hey, also, do you happen to own a home out here locally? Yeah, we do. Okay. Well, again, I know I'm asking a lot from you, but one of the things I got to get good at is learning how to value homes. Would it be okay with you if I just use your home as a way to go out there and learn, where I can, get your address from you? I'll run a home valuation on it. Now, before I send it to you, because I want to make sure it's accurate, I'll run it by my broker, make sure by the time it gets to you, it's fully accurate with the market value today. So this way, you know what, current market value of your home is. But this way it allows me, to go out there and start learning this skill set and learning how to do this. Would that be okay with you? And then bam, now I'd get an address and then I'd hand him my card and I'd say to him, look, you're doing me some solid favors here. Truly means the world to me. If there's anything I can do for you, real estate related or not, like you need help moving a fridge, washer, dryer, like whatever, I'm your guy. You're helping me out a lot and I always believe in repaying favors. So anything you ever need from me, just save my card, call, text, email anytime. And it just started leading to business. It led to great conversations, led to me getting educated, and led to great business, even though I told them, hey, I'm brand new. You wouldn't want to use me regardless, right? Like I'm brand new. You wouldn't want to use me. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. People appreciate the hustle. It's about the relationship. It's about the connection. They appreciated that. And then people were like, well, hey, we don't care if you're new. Like, we're willing to take a bet on you. It just led to business, even though I wasn't planning on it. I was just, like I said, I stumbled on that one on accident. Okay, so then from there, name badge and new builds is the 19th strategy that I'm gonna walk you through here. Again, this is a thing that I learned just from, it was kind of an accident where I'm going out there. I believe in knowing our market, knowing our inventory. So we always have new builds popping up in our marketplace. I dress nice, put a, nice Joshua Smith Realtor name badge on. I walk through all the new builds, get to know everything about them. And I just walk, like, energy matters, man. Walk through, big smile on your face, saying hi to everybody. Hey, how are you? Beautiful home, isn't it? Beautiful day outside, right? Like, and that's just kind of the type of person I am, like, just never really in a bad mood. I mean, I am, but I don't show people when I'm in a bad mood, right? And then again, it just led to business. I have people be like, hey, I see that you're a realtor. Hey, we got a few questions. And then I'd let them know, like, I'm not trying to poach business from the builder because I can't anyway in my market. Like, if they went in and registered with them and didn't register with me as a realtor, I can't represent them on that, but maybe they're looking for a different new build. Maybe they're looking for something with resell. So then we started having those conversations. So then I just got in the habit of, okay, every single weekend before I did my open house, I would go walk a couple, busy new builds because they're busy on, the weekends. And again, these were kind of filler downtime things that I go out there and do, but it led it to business. Okay. The last one, again, a good filler thing to do, which is working at Starbucks. And when I mean working at Starbucks, I'm not saying to go get a job at Starbucks. What I mean by this, and you can do this for any local coffee shop or local, we'll just say local coffee shop. But I'll use Starbucks because we all know what Starbucks is, right? So then from there, it's like, okay, when agents come to work inside my office, I'm like, what are you doing here? Like, dude, go get your laptop, wrap the front of it where it's got your logo, says realtor. Everybody can see that you're a real estate agent, who you are. Instead of working at the office, go set up at, a busy Starbucks in your marketplace and in your geo farm, have some buyer's guides, seller's guides set out, so it looks like you're kind of working on them. Go buy a coffee so you're not freeloading, and then do all your emails, your follow-ups, your busy work at that establishment. So I'm not soliciting customers, but guess what? If I'm doing that, if I'm spending a couple hours of time that I'd be working anyway. So this isn't an added activity. I'm doing shit that I'd be doing anyway, just from a different environment. People come up to you, start asking you questions. Everybody's interested in real estate. There's not a party that goes on, where real estate isn't a subject that gets brought up, right? So people are intrigued in what's going on in real estate, and they will come to you and ask you questions, and you will gain business out of it. So this is just kind of working more strategically, and tapping into, okay, I'm already doing this thing. If I'm already doing this thing, how can I maximize my ability to get more business out of this thing? Now, that's just like, okay, we talked about, two of these that we talked about earlier, like open house and for sale by owners. One of my favorite ways to do open houses is on for sale by owners, because 38% of the for sale by owners that I do the open house on, I end up developing that relationship and then listing their property after the fact. So then, hey, I'm already doing this activity anyways. How can I then, this is where we start working smarter, right? So how can I maximize this to go out there and create success? So those are 20 ways to go out there and generate free leads. And there's an abundance more, but I just wanted to walk you through 20 top ways that just came to my mind, immediately as I started making this list to go out there and generate business that don't need to cost you any money. Yeah, they're going to take time, energy, focus, but that's just life, man. That's just that's just what it takes to go out there and create success. All right. So hopefully you found this beneficial. Hopefully you found this helpful. Again, make sure to check out gsdmode.com. And I highly encourage you to jump on that free training while it exists. And it's on the front page of gsdmode.com. Or again, you can click on the free resource tab, download my ebook, but you'll see the free training on there. It's an awesome, badass training, and it walking you through in an extreme deep dive. Again, I know 3 hours is a long time to ask anybody to sit. It's a long training for me to also perform and do. But I didn't want to just deliver a 45-minute shallow training or like on the, this podcast here today. These are all things of value, but because this podcast is 30 minutes, I can't go into each one of these in extreme depth to make sure not only do you know what to do, but then you know how to do it. So that masterclass is going to be breaking down, okay, not just what to do, but how to do it to make sure that you are thriving in this current market climate that we are in. All right, guys, keep up the amazing work. Keep crushing it. And I will see you next time. Peace.